I'm just going to get the PowerPoint up. And what we're going to do is another kind of active activity. Let's see. Okay. So.
Yeah, true.
Oh, the stretch.
So we call this, we need to come up with a better name for this. I can't think of one, but perhaps you can help me. We're calling it memory match game. So oftentimes when I'm introducing again a topic to students as the librarian and they're going to do research about it, I'm trying to find out, what is the significant content and, and kind of have a controlled content so that they can do research. They can always go outside of the topic that we provide, but we want to make sure the topics that they do choose are something that they can actually find information about. So we're passing out the cards. I think we need one card, no, the pack at a table.
A packet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every 2 or 3 people should have a pack. You're gonna work together to do this. And when we're in school, oftentimes the students are sitting at tables, so this is much easier. She needs to switch it back. So no, they're gonna, I guess. Oh, so they're gonna see this. Okay, I'm gonna give them. Okay, the instructions are. A second here. Okay, so what you're going to do here are the directions. You're going to spread your cards out with the cover card, which is the Mary, the Queen of Heaven. She's going to be facing up, and I suggest doing 3 rows of 4 cards to a row, if we counted that correctly. And then you just get them spread out there, and then we'll all kind of start about the same time. See how good your memories are. Now, usually when we do this, we have more cards.
3 rows of 4.
Yeah.
3 rows of 4, is that right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think the objective is going to be to make a match? So, okay, so as I say to the students, okay, they have to listen to the instructions. So one person is going to start, they're going to turn the card over.
You got it?
And you need to leave the card there so that people can get a mental picture of where that card is. Okay, then you turn over the next card and you hope that you make a match. If you make a match, then you keep rolling. You get to go again. If you don't, then it goes to another person. Any questions?
You go first.
Okay, let's begin.
Point it out. This, I see. Okay. Oh, you have to make rice. Yeah.
We might not have.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Yes, we saw it. Yeah. I forgot that.
Cool. All right, well, we'll take a look at what they look like. This one, what is it?
I'm sorry. I grew up.
We finished all that time.
You made one, who won? Who won? Who did they win?
Oh, wait.
You didn't have 12? You didn't have 12?
They didn't have, they didn't have sex.
I don't know. I probably did. One of them was missing.
Mama Don has her hand up.
We knew we were gonna make a mistake somewhere, huh?
Oh, you think there?
She said one by
Oh, her name. Okay, great, see her.
She actually texted me yesterday.
Of course, it was one part.
One missing, yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Now,
People online, they can see it in the resource. But I'm not sure they can. They just have to.
They can.
Hey, you know what? Maybe we can spread the cards out
Yeah. Let's move this for now.
so that they can, so we only need, we don't need.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Right?
Oh, because then they can actually do the whole,
Well, they need six, the six.
I mean, they also see it online, right? No?
Well, I don't know.
Okay. All right, that's it.
That's
So is
it. Now we just have, I'm gonna put the
Yeah.
document for you. Okay, whether you finished or not, let's stop.
Anya? Anya? Anya?
Now you want to spread your cards out so that you're actually, there's 6 cards that are, you know, they are doubles of the cards. So you can just have the 6 out if you want to. Spread them out so you actually see the manuscripts. And I'm going to read you some clues. And, first I forgot. Somebody at the table needs to have a piece of paper that you number from 1 to 6. Somebody with a piece of paper. And you all have to agree, I think, on which one I'm talking about. Are you ready for the question?
Yeah.
All tables ready for the question?
Yes.
Okay.
You got a piece of paper. You've numbered it from 1 to 6.
Yes.
Now, when we're really doing it, we have at least 10, but that was going to be harder to do here. So we're just dealing with 6. The size of people in Gez paintings often indicate their position in society. Find the painting with Mary much larger than the 12 disciples on her left and right. Write the number beside the painting on your answer sheet, or write the letter, I should say. So you're gonna have number 1, and is it A, B, C, D? Which one is it? And you all have made a decision, and you know, just like give me a thumbs up, and I'll move on to the next question. Everybody's ready to move on? Okay. Harag, which literally means vine, is a decorative border with interlaced lines in a geometric pattern. It is often found on the first pages of Gez manuscripts or at the beginning of books or chapters within a manuscript. Find the manuscript with the harag. Number 3. Royals, clergy, and wealthy patrons supported the creation of many Gez manuscripts. Artists often added patrons lying prostrate at the bottom of the painting. Find the Gez manuscript that shows 2 patrons. The faces of good characters are often shown facing forward. The faces of evil characters are shown in profile with only one eye visible, so that the viewer cannot be affected by an evil gaze. Find the painting that shows an evil character. Handkerchiefs were a sign of high social status. Find Mary holding a handkerchief. When copying text, scribes use red ink for emphasis, in opening sections, punctuation, and for highlighting special people. Find the painting with the scribe. Are we ready to check our answers? Now, when I design this lesson, I design it so they get 100%. So let's see if you got 100%. Number 1 is what letter? E. Number 2 is
F.
Number 3 is
C.
Number 4.
D.
Number 5.
A.
And number 6.
D.
Yeah, you got 100%. Okay, and now Dr. Helen Bond, and Lesina Martin are going to do some discussion about this.
That was fun, Lou.
We can change that.
I think that.
Or you want to stand in front of that one? You have to, or, want to share?
You would have put that in that document.
Yeah.
Oh, you want that down in front of it?
Yeah, be great to have a copy. And I have a copy of yeah. There's. So if you make this that.
Oh, it's gonna be up. Yeah.
Oh, I see, yeah.
She's gonna show it up there.
First, you want to discuss about how they use it.
Okay, so while they're setting that up, I will continue to be the spark of how can we use these and what are we seeing, what is coming to us, what is this sparking for you in terms of how you can use it for your students or in your classroom. The first thing that Ms. Brenda said is that I have a hard time calling her Brenda, just Brenda.
Everybody else does. You're the only one to thank you. Okay, that's all right.
Give
Give me my props.
So the first thing that she said is that they would usually use 10, which means there's 20 cards in the pack. Definitely a bit more of a challenge. It's really something that gives us that opportunity to use the cognitive, the memory work and things like that. But what else do we see? I mean, my kids I taught AP psychology. My kids love the matching game that we did when we talked in the unit about memory. What are they getting from it, and what can we do? What can we do? What can we do with it that maybe expands it from a little bit beyond this once they've done the matching? Sure.
I think it encourages them to look really closely at the cards without realizing they're being asked to look closely at the cards, which I think is pretty genius.
Yes.
Like you could just ask questions, right? But like this way it makes it a game, so they're noticing those details, but without feel like I'm being kind of like a boring question and answer thing. And then, I mean, you could do, you tell students write about it, like make a claim and use one of the things as evidence.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that really jumped out for me is getting the general information about art and its specific elements, and like it's like this sideways Mr. Miyagi way of teaching you some specific information about how art was made and how it's formed and some of the traditional elements of it. So yeah, I think that maybe having them do some evidence work, do some, citation. Well, you said usually this would be like that. Maybe find another example. Maybe if we go on the website and we find another evil figure, that we can now match up. So yeah, there's lots of ways I saw.
Get opinions on this video. And if you want to see me color, how do you remember what called what, like the kid who we thought is so special ed will come up with stuff we never thought about. Did you see the little mouse at the left corner of that mouse? And then when you look, it looks like a mouse, and there was another mouse here. Or one picture didn't have a mouse, but something else, you know what I mean? Or the color or the design.
Yeah, it's
And
amazing
that
what can.
helps other students to figure out how they can remember what the peers are.
Absolutely. It's amazing what can stand out for people. Some people would notice, like just as we were doing the read earlier with the images, some people noticed the halo, somebody noticed the star. That's not necessarily something that's big, but by paying attention to that, it can be sharing the fact that you paid attention to it, sharing the fact that you noticed it.
On the left side hanging,
The what?
the two rat bats.
I didn't see that.
I almost ate rat bats in Cambodia a month ago, so I saw that.
Okay, the thing that made me notice the bird in the other picture was that on one guy was hanging down.
That was no bird, that was rat.
No.
No, so it's not, there's many things happening. Is this,
You see, don't do that. But these are the conversations that come up when we start to ask, what was it that stood out for you that made you remember that? So yeah, absolutely.
Similarly, you could have some students go to the board and draw what they remember from the card, that they remember most, and then see if the other kids could figure out what it is that they're drawing.
So then now reproducing elements of the image. And that goes into our own interpretation. That goes into not only what stands out for us visually, but how we reinterpret that back. And so now we're also creating, in a way, our own form of the art that we see, and we're giving it back. So yeah, that's really doubling down. Yeah.
It puts light into neurodiversity and how we're all needing something different and not to be, that brings about sharing what it is you see, because you're, keep it together kid now, that's a good thing, not a bad thing.
Absolutely.
I thought the neurodiversity, she thought, but I thought everything.
Creating safe spaces and being inclusive about different points of view and different perspectives, and actually encouraging seeing things from a different light or seeing things in a different way, rather than saying the important thing about this is this. Like, we're not just telling them this is the important thing for you to look for. We're asking them what stood out for you. And then at the same time, we have these backdoor moments of saying, here's what within the culture is designated as important. Right? Yeah. These are the elements that would traditionally be there. These are the elements that we would see that we should look for, but what else is there? And then it opens a door also to the individual artists. So every artist has their own eye, has their own gaze, has their own perspective. And so where is the space for that? For me, I'm a dancer. Forgive me for how I'm dressed. I came from a dance class, but for me, I'm a dancer. And so even though there are traditional movements, there are traditional ways that you are meant to demonstrate whatever the story is, whatever you're doing, each individual dancer has their own style, right? Each individual singer, though a song may be traditional, each singer has their own style. And so each artist, in the same vein, with visual art is going to have their own style. So as we pay very close attention, we notice these different things. I may have taken too much time. I know we need to do the art organizer.
Yeah,
But
thanks, Lesina. That's
Mhm.
good.
Thank
So
you.
in your folders, you have an art organizer. Will you take that out now? We're running a little bit late, but not too much. And Dr. Bond is gonna speak about that.
I think the art organizer, if you'll take that out, I think it works very well in conjunction with the vocabulary list. And if you look, and it's designed for students to give them more information to sort of to be able to dig deeper regarding the paintings. Let's just briefly, because we are running a little bit behind here. To be used in conjunction with the PEMM database as well as the painting. It's asking students to look for the date created, current location of painting, objects depicted, living beings depicted, describe any head coverings, describe any spiritual beings. We're talking about archangels, saints, humans with halos. And it goes through and it specifically ask students to look for, how does the painting relate to your life, any synoptic episodes, indicators of social rank. I wanted to say, I think this is a very good art organizer, and I know we're working with the PEMM database. I don't want to refer you to other databases, but I think what's also very helpful, because this really is under the rubric in many ways of working with primary sources. And of course, the PEMM database, but if you go to the Library of Congress, primary sources, they have teacher guides there for depending on the type of primary source. So we're working in many ways with manuscripts. So there's a teacher guide there in which that would give you suggestions on what questions to ask, what to refer students to look for in terms of manuscript. There's also teacher guides there. If you're looking, for example, at a painting, Wendy went through, and as well as our panel, looking at various aspects of the painting. There is a teacher resource guide that works directly just for paintings. If you're looking at poetry, so and they're not that much used. People aren't really aware of them. In my class, when I teach a lesson on primary sources, we refer to those. They're very, very good, and they can be used along with the wonderful concept organizers, concept diagrams, story maps. So that's just another resource. I'm just going to. But I do want to say, going back to the art organizer, any ideas on how you might implement that? We talked a little bit about it yesterday, that concept diagrams, art organizers, story maps can be used prior to a lesson, during a lesson, as well as after a lesson has been taught. Yeah. So you can use it, beforehand to to activate looking for prior knowledge. You can certainly use it during the lesson. When we were looking at some of the paintings here, I was thinking about it's a great time to bring out our wonderful art organizer. And you can also use it as an assessment instrument. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. Any comments from the audience? I moved away, but this is what's showing what's important about how this might be used. Yes.
Story organizer for college students. Like if I'm teaching a class in oratory and writing. So usually somewhere around the middle of the at the very beginning, they have to write just about themselves. And then I do my homework when we're right. And then around mid semester, like when they're going to for Thanksgiving, they could use this. And actually my students have to interview a senior and a younger person in the family. Because I want them to connect with their family, because for me, there's a stuff because if you don't know where you're coming from, you will hardly know where you're going or where it's a guide. I ended up with a student who did a family tree, and it might be still in Lockport and wherever I had not. And they actually said their aunt, I think who raised them was a prostitute or somewhere in Ohio, and it's not bad. That told this lady had to earn a living to raise the children. She probably didn't deserve it. And she ended up at home. And I've also had students whose parents, grandparents were sharecroppers. So they would have to pick a character in their family. Could be them, maybe pick an older, younger, and themselves, and be three different, and maybe a Venn diagram, whatever. But over time, how have your family progressed? Any of us, our university in my class. What were the challenges that your family encountered and overcame, or you are encountering, but because they overcame and went across the river, you're able to? What action did they take? Not affirmative action, forget that, it's too political. Abortion, it could be anything. And then how you're going to solve the problems you think that you may encounter based on your family history or what's going on right now in the United States. When Canadians win, are there going to be issues? Because there are. But how are we going to overcome?
Just as I,
Form.
right, yeah. Just one last reminder that those teacher resource, primary source guides, which are excellent. Again, they're at the Library of Congress, if you can, Library of Congress. Primary source, teacher research guides, or specific ones for manuscripts, paintings, and so forth, in conjunction with the organizers here. Any questions? If not,
Find
yes.
any letters or anything, you know, scripts from way back, letters, just community.
Right, thank you. I think we do have one question.
Well, I think we have to, can you hold it, write the question down? Because we want to make sure that we introduce you to our next presentation and make sure that some people who have to leave get to hear this presentation. So I'm going to ask Dawit to come up and make the introduction.